Making giant stuff in 3D is really cool. Giant thing in the middle of tiny objects, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But the thing is, it's kind of tricky to do. And I always thought it would be as easy as taking an object, scaling it up to a size of a country or something. You know, just adding a couple of zeros to the scale and placing it, and boom, it will look cool. But no, when you come to do it, it's not like that. So I just wanted to go over some main things that really took my render. I know it's still not like a 10. I think it's more like 7, but still those points took it from like a 2 to a 7. Stuff like camera angle and adding some elements that really make it look like a big thing. So let's start with the camera stuff. I think it's really important because it like changes it from a 2 to a 4. For example, placing the camera at the level of the giant thing, whatever your giant thing is, it's not gonna feel huge because you're like standing taller than it. A cool little simple trick is to place the camera like this at a low angle, going from there to here. Now my camera is almost at the ground level. It also helps to show some of the stuff that's on the ground that we see in real life, so our brain automatically sees the giant thing as a giant thing. Also change the aspect ratio of the camera to be more like cinematic than our standard 16:9. That helps too in giving it like more cinematic view. Okay, next up, the point that we have is basically adding different things for scale reference. So obviously I'm putting the giant heart in the center of a warehouse, breaking the roof of it, but I don't think it's enough to convey the sense of scale, so we need things around it that are smaller than it. Let's go over the things I added in this scene. Let's start with these like green screen footage of me myself. So basically I recorded myself walking in front of a green screen like this and added these tiny me in this huge scene, these containers near the bottom of the heart, and this scaffold near the heart. This was pretty cool. And I had also added this guy, this construction worker over it. He's walking on the scaffold and looking at the heart. Also added these forklifts. One of them is moving at the back and the other one is right here, just beneath the heart. This was pretty cool, this crane. It's almost the same size as my heart. They're supposed to be pretty big, so if it's the same size, then it sends the message that my heart is really big. Of all these reference scale elements, these birds were my favorite, I think. Look at them, so tiny, flying across the frame as the video plays. So yeah, for scale reference, these were the things that I used. Animating these elements or moving them is a cherry on top, because if these tiny things are moving really slow across the frame, then your brain thinks that that area must be really huge. These reference objects are a pretty cool thing. Fill your scene with these and you will be good. Next up is volumetrics and fog and mist and all that cool stuff. I mean, depth is everything in these type of shots. Like if it's 3 or 4 right now, then I think this volume thing is taking it to like a solid 5.75. It takes significantly more time though to render, but if that's an issue, you can also use mist. In your view layer tab, you can enable this mist thing and render it out separately and use that as a screen or add mode over your render. That could work too. I ended up using the actual one because also for the lights, wherever there is lights, it adds this global illumination type of thing. I am not sure if that's the term to use here, but you get the idea. If I turn that off, you see how bad that looks. Almost all of the time it enhances most aspects about your render, so there's no reason to not use it if you can. Also at the top of the heart there must be clouds, right? It's really huge, so it must be touching the clouds, so I added these PNGs and there's a lot of these. All these planes you see at the top of the heart, these are all cloud PNGs. A few of them are at the back too, again to sell the sense of depth to it. It will take your render to the next level. Alright, let's keep moving. Parallax, right? Again for the sense of depth. So if you look at this, basically move your camera. Instead of making an image, if you're making a video, you have one advantage, and that is you can move your camera kind of like parallel to these objects. And what will happen is all the foreground elements will be moving fast across the frame, but your main subject will stay almost at its original position. So these cartons and me and second me and all this stuff is moving across the frame really quickly, but the heart is not. So this is basically the parallax effect that you want in your render. You can even zoom in. See how the foreground elements move really quickly, but my heart is staying the same. The reason why I did not zoom in is because of my green screen footage, because that's not 3D, so that would not have looked good. It looks like those are images instead of 3D. So that's why I moved my camera kind of like across the frame instead. Okay, so I wasn't even planning to talk about sound in this video, but then I posted this Premiere Pro timeline on my Instagram and Adobe themselves liked it, so now I'm legally obligated. Well, jokes aside, this part's actually really important to me. It's not just something I slap on at the end. Even while I'm building the 3D scene, the sound is already playing in my head. The reverb, the ambience, the vibe, how everything will sound. So when I finally get here, it's less about adding sound and more about finding the exact ones that were echoing in my brain for days when I was working on the project. So let me show you what I used. I will just quickly go layer by layer on this. Okay, so this first one is just a basic humming. It's metal creaking. This third golden one is basically more of a music, dark and rumbly, kind of what I wanted. So let's play these three together. See, already sounding really good. This fourth green one is again a random like humming sound or rumbling. I tried adding like beats for the heart. Okay, these next two are kind of like organic flesh sounds again for the heart, and these pink ones are like metal tool drops. See, again another metal creak, but it's way cooler than the above one. See, it reminds me of the game Fallout 4 and its sound design. Really good so far. I needed a big beat drop when the whole heart is in frame, so this is that. Tell me that's not epic. Wind with like a thunder. This wind sound is making it sound like there's stuff outside this warehouse too, like grass and clouds and rain and stuff. See how sound can build your scene. This last one is another like rumbling or distant explosion. Sounds really good. So all of this combined. It actually feels like there's stuff behind the camera too and outside the warehouse. Okay, so final thing we have is the post-production, adding these final touches. In Blender's compositor, I added some glare to get that soft fog glow around the lights that we usually use. You can see around the lights. A tiny bit of lens distortion, and remember that mist pass I talked about earlier? Here it is. I use that to kind of like add slightly more fog to like kind of dial up the dreamy haze just a bit. Then another glare node. This one is for these like lens flare effect from those hanging lights. Okay, back in Premiere I layered this like grunge image I found online with a really low opacity to kind of like add imperfections. Basically fake camera dirt. And then this particles video. It's really cool too. So on screen mode with the low opacity again. Color correction, yep. Boosted the reds in the heart using HSL secondary in Volumetrics because in the raw render it was kind of dull, and did some light grading too, contrast, exposure, shadows and the usual aspects. Oh, and this VR glow to help the lights make them look nice and hazy, and chromatic aberration, especially around the edges. You can see these like color fringe effect, really looks good. And that's about it. All the small things that no one notices unless they're not there. Making big things actually feel big in 3D is weirdly satisfying. So I hope you learned something from it. Like the video if you did. Drop a comment if you made it this far. Well, I barely made it through editing this video myself. So, and if you want more stuff like this, definitely subscribe. Anything 3D, VFX, SFX, CG related, you subscribe to this channel. And until next time.